Hello, hello, plannerets. As we go into a new week, are you a bit unsure of where to start? Your list feels like
I
it's
know
full.
Canva
Oops,
could be
it's a lot.
overwhelming, but with the
And let me just turn off my volumes, make sure I am all okay here. Right. So now your list feels full. It feels like a lot. It's too much. Plus, you actually don't have the energy to plan everything that you'd like or that you need to. That is where I was last week. So if you follow me on Instagram as well as here on YouTube, you would have seen me just sharing my journey from last week of what I did to get me out of that funk. So today, instead of trying to fix everything, what we're going to do is we're going to keep it very, very simple. And I'm going to show you how we can do that right now. Let's go. What time it is, where you're tuning in from, or just say hello and hi in the chat. And of course, if you are watching us on replay as well, make sure you say hello in the comments. You know, I love reading your comments. And so let's see who's here with us right now. Hello, Margie. Nice to see you. Thank you so much. Hi, Marianne and Plannerettes. Hello there, Brenda. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, Brenda. I'm liking your haircut, Marianne. I got mine cut shorter than I normally do. Yes, so as you know, for if you're like anything like me, anytime there's a little bit of worry inside my head, I try and change things up. Maybe not as drastic as a haircut each and every time. I rearrange things in the house, I rearrange setups, but I wanted to go and get my hair cut. So thank you so much. I have had this haircut in the past. Oh, no sound. Am I okay? Have I got sound? Let me know if I've got sound. We can't hear you now. No sound. Oh no. Yes, no. I can hear now. You can hear now? Oh, maybe one of my scenes. You know, I try and do these sound checks and all checks as we go, but sometimes I miss a few things. But I'm glad there is sound now. Yes, sound, 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 sound. Now, here we go. Now we can hear you. Hello, Sheila. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, Elle. Hello, hello. I wonder if I'll ever get to do a live stream without any hiccups. Thank you so much. I see some other people. Hello. Hi, Ginger. Hello, hi, Elle and Ginger. Margie's Crafted Corner. I love your haircut. I got mine cut on Thursday for the summer. Well, there you go. Look at everyone getting their hair cut. Hair is looking sleek. Thank you so much. Did I miss Ginger? Is there Ginger in here somewhere? Toot, 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 toot. Oh, there you are. I can hear now. Thank you, Ginger. Nice to see you. Thank you so much. I want to make sure I don't miss anybody at all. All right. So I'm going to have to be diligent now in checking that the scene that I move into I am not muted. All right. So what happened last week? I didn't feel like myself. Well, actually, I shouldn't say I didn't feel like myself because I'm trying to learn to embrace all aspect of me, the happy Marianne, the sad, the anxious, the worrisome, the lost, the kooky, the silly. All right, so let me just rephrase. So last week, I was feeling a little bit low energy, low motivation, even the things that I wanted to do that bring me joy. I didn't want to do. So I knew maybe something's not right. So that low energy, I just wanted to sit on the couch, and even planning felt a little too much. And so, I noticed I was avoiding my planner. I wasn't using it to the, full advantage that I had set up earlier on in the week, because even looking at it made everything feel heavy, feel like it was a lot, feel like it was so much stress and burden on me. So instead of trying to push through it, I just focused on small things. And so first, took a shower, getting yourself clean, wash your hair, put on some clean clothes. In one of my Instagram, I was, yep, no more stink, right? So a shower, got myself outside, got myself a little haircut on Friday, and even watched a movie just at home with hubby sitting on the couch and just enjoying some connection time. Because even though, I work at home, I'm always in front of the computer, in front of the camera. So I wanted to make sure that connection. So, nothing major, nothing big, not a big upheaval, some new little, cut here and there, but it helped me move a little. All right. So my planner wasn't something I had to keep up with. It became something I couldn't come back to. Right. So anytime you feel the guilt that you haven't touched your planner, you haven't updated your tracker, there's lots of blank pages, just know your planner is not the boss of you. Okay. It's there to help guide you for when you may be feeling lost, or be intentional to plan your week. Now, I do see Chatterbox popping in the live. Hello there, Chatterbox. There was no sound after intro, but it is fine now. Yes, I think I went into a scene that I must have muted, playing around with these things. Yes, I'm so sorry when friends feel low during the season changes. I blame it on the shift of season. Yes, that too, of course. For us here where I am in Sydney, Australia. It is Monday, 5 a.m. March was the start of our autumn season. So, changes. And for those of you living on the other side of the world, you move changes as well. So, yeah. And of course, at 51, I am going through, my perimenopausal journey and all the different changes. However, I did go and book myself a doctor, went to see the doctor, got blood tests done. So just waiting for results. In the meantime, doing all the tiny little small things as I go. Hello, Ronnie Cat. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you being here. All right. So let me know, have you had a week like that, or are you even having a week like that right now? So if you are, whether you are or not, hopefully we can enjoy the next hour, enjoying each other's company, help lift each other up, and make sure that we are connecting and not just keeping to ourselves, because sometimes we think that we might burden others, especially close loved ones, by sharing if we're not having a top of the time, because we might think that, oh, they're having a good old time if I worry them with how I'm feeling. But do know your loved ones do want to make sure that you are okay. And so it is okay to share. And I have done that with some of my real life family and friends, as well as my wonderful connections on the interworld, in the internet. Okay. So if you have had those weeks yourself, it's okay. You are not alone. We are here together, and we can, make each other smile at least while we are here in the live chat. And of course, if you are watching on replay, yes. So Sheila, positive changes, also have had those weeks. So we're here. We can do this. All right. We've got this. One tiny little step at a time. That's all we got to do. Tiny little step. All right. So sometimes the hardest part actually isn't doing You know, the things that we might have planned in our planner, it's actually knowing where to start. So you might have had a nicely laid out planner with all your tasks, all your to-dos, all your habits and routines that you are going to track for the week. So you have the laid out plan. You've written it down. And sometimes you go, what the hell, where do I start? Okay, so sometimes it's knowing where to start, or feeling like you have so much that it's that heavy feeling. All right, because I know, like, I'm a planner, I have a planning account, and sometimes I don't plan. It's because that doesn't mean that I'm not good at what I'm doing, or, you know, that my system's not working. Sometimes the energy, our capacity is not where we thought it would be when we planned the week earlier on. Okay, so I just want us right now to take away that feeling that we're supposed to be at 100% all of the time, and when we're not, that we are failing. Okay, no, no, no. It's just, you know, things fluctuate, right? We have ups and downs, low energy, high motivation, high discipline, low motivation, low discipline. Okay. So, really important that when you are looking at your new week ahead, we are just going to start with one small thing. So, during my brain dump yesterday, so every week, the members and I in the our membership, we do a brain dump together every Sunday. For those of you new to my channel, every first Sunday, my Sunday here in Sydney, Australia, I do a full brain dump reset where we go through this step by step. Okay, so I have this brain dump guide as well as the brain dump printable. So if you are new to my channel, it is a freebie. Okay, yes, it is a freebie. I popped the QR code right there on the screen if you're watching on TV, or if you are in the live chat, I've just added the link. And of course, if you are watching on replay, it is also in the description. So you will get the free brain dump guide, the trigger list, and then a printable, just not this one, not the to-do list, a grid printable where you can just dump all your thoughts and feelings. You know, it doesn't have to be just once a week. You can do it every night for 2 minutes, whatever it is, just to help you just declutter and take away that burden. Okay, so yesterday I realized I didn't need to do a full reset right away, because of course yesterday was my Sunday, nor this morning. I don't have to try and figure everything out for the full 7 days. Okay, I just need one place, one focus at a time, one step at a time. So if you are right now looking at your list for Monday and going, oh my God, what do they call it? The Sunday scaries. Okay, if you're having the Sunday scaries, let's shut that door on those Sunday scaries. Okay, because what we're going to do is we're just going to take things one step at a time. So yesterday we did our brain dump together. Okay, and then I chose, so as part of the guide, you start to categorize things for today, tomorrow, and the week, and then also for the month and later on in the, you know, future ideas. So we categorized things that we wanted to do for today, tomorrow, and the week, and I just picked my top 3 priorities. That's all you got to do. Okay, you just got to take one thing at a time. It's not Thursday yet, so no need to plan for Thursday yet. Maybe it's good to have it in the back of your mind what might be happening for Thursday, but you don't have to tackle that right now. Okay, so whatever you have right now, whether you have your own to-do list, whether you're looking at your current week's incomplete tasks, I want you to just pick your top 3 priorities. If 3 priorities are still a little bit too much, then just pick one. And once you've done that, you can move on to the other one. So this is what I do when I don't have the energy to look at everything that I need, that I had planned to do, that I need to do, just one step at a time. All right. So that brain dump step is where we start. So if at the moment you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, burnt out, lost, unsure, brain dump is the step where it actually starts. Okay, so you can't go and declutter things or try and do things if the mind is full and heavy and you're all over the place. Just get everything out of your head first and down on paper, so then that way you're not trying to plan while holding on to everything in your mind. So what analogy can I use for this? Well, if you're trying to plan and your mind is heavy and cluttered, if you've already got a lot of stuff, right? If you're holding a lot of stuff, you're carrying a lot of stuff, and then you try and pick up that, maybe you drop the key and you try and pick it up off the floor, and then you're trying to balance and you're trying to hold everything, things will start to fall, or you might trip, or you might fall, lose your balance. So get everything out of your head first, so then you're not trying to plan while holding everything in your mind. Now, if you haven't done a brain dump yet, that's always my first step before planning the new week. All right, so there's where are we? I'm trying to see if I can do this. There's the QR code. It's also in the link. So if you haven't grabbed the free printable yet, that is for you, my present for you. Okay, and it's one of the things that has helped me so much reduce the overwhelm, reduce the anxious thoughts that go in my mind. Yes, Elle says I often have those Sunday scaries. Yes, I think I also have the Wednesday scaries, the Thursday scaries. I have most days some scaries. So for those, especially not, I guess I don't call mine Sunday scaries anymore, and I call it just any day scaries, is because I'm not traditionally in the 9 to 5, Monday to Friday role anymore. But for those of us that have the Monday to Friday roles, those Sunday scaries start to creep in. All right. So really important. All right. So now, how do you choose what your top 3 priorities are? Okay. So, if even choosing choosing your top 3 priorities is a lot for you right now, and it was for me. Like I had my husband had to tell me what to do, because I'm like, I would go to him and I'm either crying or I'm feeling sad, and he would had to, it was like, what do I do? Help me. What do I do? It's like, have you gotten outside? Have you had something to eat? Okay. So if choosing a top 3 priority right now still feels a lot, let's just keep it very, very simple. So here's the thing I would like you to do. Okay. So the first thing is that I want you to ask yourself, number 1, okay, what actually matters this week? What actually matters, okay, either right now, so, or if you're planning your week, or this week. Okay. If we've done that, can we ask ourselves that? So then you go, all right, this matters, this matters, this matters. I'm behind on this one. This matters, this matters. Oh my goodness. So your list, all of it actually matters. I want you to ask a second question. Okay. What are the consequences? What are the consequences? Okay, so I want you to write this down. Put it in a little palm card. Put it on a post-it note. Have it visible. So then when you are trying to plan your week and you say to yourself, but Marianne, all of them matters. All of them are important. All of them are urgent because I've already fallen behind. So then, you put on already a lot on your to-do list, and Monday isn't even here yet for a lot of you. Of course, you're going to feel overwhelmed. Of course, you're going to feel like you're so heavy. All right. So, what are the consequences if it doesn't get done? If it doesn't whoops. All right. Let me just pop that here. If it doesn't get done. Okay. So let me just make that small for those of you that are watching on the on your vertical on your phone. All right, so you can join us in the full desk view. Get done. All right. So those sometimes was the missing steps that I had. Okay. I stopped at what actually matters. Okay. I stopped at that first one. And hang on, I got an itchy nose. I stopped at that first one because guess what? If we stop at that one, they're all going to matter. They're all important. Right? So what actually matters either right now, if you're just planning your day and you only have, right now within your capacity, or this week, but ask yourself the next one. What are the consequences if it doesn't get done? All right. So now I've got a full video that actually, because that was the thing, I kept having a lot of some plannerettes say, but Marianne, you talk about this running to-do list of yours where, oh, sorry, I think it's a little hair, fly away hair, right? There's uh you know you say to try and just keep your to-do list only on one page for the week. I can't do that, Marianne. I've got so much to do. Okay, so this was the missing step, is how to pick what matters for this week. That's all we're doing. We're not planning our whole year. We're not planning the whole month, just for this week. This is for a lot of us who are overwhelmed. So if you can plan 2 weeks in advance, I'm not saying stop at one page. It's just for those of us who are just, So I've got this full video on how to pick what goes on your to-do list for this week without the overwhelm. Okay, so let me know, have you seen this video? Who has seen this video of mine? I think the title is how to pick what goes on your to-do list without overwhelm. Okay, so this was the missing step for me, because I went, oh yep, I know what I would like to do for today, tomorrow, and the week, and then the list is like never ending, especially when the week before I felt low energy, didn't do the things I should have done. So I put it onto this week's list, and then it's the same. Okay, so really important. So when you do pick your top three, okay, 1, 2, 3. So I did mine, 1, 2, 3, and guess what? That's all you can focus on for the moment. Then do those, and then you can move on to the next 3, and then the next 3. Okay, so once I have my priorities, this is what I do next. All right, so you can either just go off the brain dump list if you don't even want to look at the rest of your planner pages, or you can put those 3 in your daily planner, in your weekly planner. Again, do what's within your own capacity. Okay, so if I'm having a slower week, like I did last week, and this week still have those, anxious thoughts, still unsure of where what I'm supposed to do next, waiting for blood test. So I'm not going to suddenly go, all right, I feel cute, I feel good, I've got a haircut, I've cleaned up my floor, I can now walk through my little space here to the left of me without tripping over things. Okay, so if I am still having a slower week, or I don't have that capacity, I don't try to fill out all of my weekly or daily pages. So let me show you. So this is the new week, okay? So for the moment, because I know a lot of us, we get all the, a little bit stressed. It's already Monday and our pages are still empty. It's Wednesday and we haven't planned anything at all. And it's Friday and we're feeling all overwhelmed, okay? Don't try and do it all if you don't have the capacity, because you're just putting that extra pressure. So what I do is I'm just going to keep everything on one page. Okay, so there's my brain dump, and this is my running to-do list. Hello there, Dandria. How are you? Nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining. And I just want to say also to everybody, and Dandria and everyone else who's been wonderful with your wonderful comments, just letting me know that I'm not alone in my feeling of, being lost, low energy, and also, giving me different advice or letting me know that they're going through it as well. It's actually really a wonderful thing that when we do share, not just the happy moments, but also the moments that's a little bit more difficult, that, there's commonality. And then others also feel that, oh, I'm not alone. I'm not, crazy thinking that, oh, why can't I do the stuff that I said I was going to do? All right. So I appreciate everyone who's well. Hello there, Nicole. Nice to see you. Thank you so much. Hi, hope you're well. Yes, or much better now that we are here all together. All right. So what I can do if I'm having a difficult moment, instead of planning my whole new week, let me just pop this here, my whole new week, I'm just going to go off my running to-do list. And this could be my starting point. Okay. This could be, thank you, Margie. I love Margie. Making sure everyone in the chat is also being welcome. You're all really wonderful. We can all give ourselves a pat on the back for ensuring that we are keeping each other company. All right, so I'm going to go off my running to-do list for at least the beginning of the week, or any time I feel like the full planner pages or full system I have is too much. So that's the same with you. Just because you bought and purchased the wonderful planner, and whether it's dated or undated, and you do feel pressure to fill it in, especially because, hey, you just spent all this money, so we got to fill it in. And then it's like sometimes when you have to do something you don't want, it's like, when you were little and your mom says, all right, just finish all the vegetables on your plate, and you're like, I don't want to. It's like, nope, you can't have dessert unless you finish all your, your vegetables. And you're like trying to take the bite. Okay, that's what it's going to feel like if you're trying to plan your pages and you're not up to it. So let's keep it simple. All right, so I just keep everything on the one page. This is the running to-do list is based on Alistair's a method. So where you keep one list of all the things you need to do for the week, or at least like to look into, does not necessarily mean it has to be completed. So that was where my error came in when I first started planning. That just because I put it on today's or this week's planner, that it needed to be completed. No, if you make just the, one tiny little cleanup for a minute, that's good too. All right, so really important. Yes, here we go. So Nicole is also in the same position. I'm in a planner slump at the moment, but trying to get back into planning. Yes, so we are all, at the moment, that's where I am too, Nicole. So this is just starting simple. It's like, what do they call them? Baby steps. All right. Yes, how are you? I love it. Wonderful. Okay, so let's remove that guilt. Let's remove that guilt. Oh, that's wonderful. I love it. See, everyone's, this community is not just for me. This is our community. This is our chance to catch up with each other and see how everybody's going. And speaking of, make sure everybody, collective drink of our water or our favorite beverage right now. All right, so if you have followed me already, with the brain dump, get everything out of your head and down on paper, okay? And then, what's the word I'm trying to say? And then categorize, okay? So in the brain dump guide, we categorize for things we'd like to do for today and tomorrow and the week. And then, of course, all these other ones. So we're only going to focus on the green because I like to color categorize what I've written down. So I just look at the stuff that's in green. All right, so for me, that's things I'd like to do for today or tomorrow, which was my Sunday and today. So I wrote them down already in no particular order. Okay, so don't worry, we're not actioning anything yet. You write them down, just go down your list, write, look, write. Okay, and then I'll cross it off here. So then that way I know I'm not having to reread it again. Okay, so whatever you have, whether you're using a running to-do list, um, just a blank piece of paper or even your weekly, just go down the list and just go, what would I like to do for today and tomorrow or look into? Write it down. No particular order. Top one doesn't mean that's the first thing you do. Just write it down. Okay? Because when you write it down, you see it clearly. Okay, so that's what I did. All my greens, as you can see, have been crossed off because I have moved them in here. So the 1, 2, or 3, I think one is get outside. Okay, so let me just zoom in a little bit. Okay, so get outside. I'd like to get outside each and every day. So on my running to-do list, I put a little dot. Okay, so this printable here at the bottom has the keys on. Again, you can create your own little symbols. You don't have to follow what I use. I use these based on, the bullet journal method. So little bullet, dot, 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 okay? Or I'd like to get outside during daylight each and every day this week, okay? And then I scheduled my Monday live. I did that. That was Sunday. I also sent out my newsletter, okay? So I've done that one. I'm just going to show you, once you complete something, you can actually just cross it off, grab your ruler. Well, it doesn't have to be a ruler. You can just draw a straight line. And once it's been completed, guess what? You no longer have to look at it. And it's a nice little dopamine hit when you have crossed something off. Okay, so now let's go through the rest of my week. What other things would I like to do this week? So those are my blue. Okay, so this one is... all right, so I need to get my eyes checked because I cannot see. That's right. Everything right now is blurry. Get eyes checked. Okay? So at the moment, I'm not noting down yet which day of the week. So I'm just going to go and write it on my to-do list. So you might be wondering, Marianne, why can't you just go off this list? Because this list has other things on it. This brain dump page, because that's another error that I made when I first started brain dumping. I thought my brain dump was my to-do list. No, that's just everything in your head. That doesn't mean that's everything you got to do this week. Okay? So if you do brain dump right now and then you go, why do I still feel overwhelmed? Because that's just what's in your head. That's not your things to do for the week. Because they might also have things to do for April or May or later in the year. Okay, so that's why I don't go off the brain dump, because guess what? My focus will also start to look at these other things. Oh, maybe I'll do that this week instead of next month. Okay, there's distraction. So what's this one? I need to move my sewing table. Okay, move my sewing machine. So at the moment, my sewing machine is on a desk that would be a better useful or could be used for other things. Because at the moment, sewing is not a top priority, but it's taking up space that could be used for something else. All right, so let me know what sort of things do you have on your tasks that you would like to do this week. What's this one? I need to update the blood pressure tracker. Update blood pressure tracker. I think I want to create an extra column that has medication, whether you've taken medication. So if you have purchased that blood pressure printable, when I update it, you will also get an updated copy. Okay, so next, what else have I got? Group things on the floor. Oh, yes. Okay, so I had stuff on the floor. I cleaned it up. So the floor is now nice and clean. But guess what? My dining table, it's got all the, the stuff that was on the floor. So I need to, in order for me to declutter my dining table, I need to group similar items first. Before I start anything else, group similar items on the dining table. On the dining table. Okay, so when you are writing your to-do list, whether you're putting it on a running to-do list like I am right now, try and have a verb, a doing word. Okay, so then that way, instead of just clean up, oh yeah, well, clean up is, then that's a doing word, that's a verb, but try and be a little bit more specific, because what happens is when we're not specific enough and we're vague, the brain just goes, I don't know what we're supposed to do. Clean up. Well, that's too big a task. Try and narrow it down or be more specific. What's some more blue? As you can see here, as I transfer my things from my brain dump to my running to-do list, they're in no particular order. All right, organized shelf behind me. Ah, yes, I have a little drawer. It's actually drawer organized shelf drawer. I think shelf drawer behind me. Okay, because every time I open it, things are getting stuck. It's not opening properly. I'm getting frustrated. Things are falling at the back, and it's just okay. So I'm going to show you in a second how I came about to putting these things on this week's list by asking those two questions we spoke about earlier. What's this one? Ah, my bras and undies drawer. Bras and undies. Okay. I have probably bras and undergarments that's, I've never worn, haven't worn for years, but they're still there, whether they're no longer fit or their, elastic has gone, or bras that are way too tight or too small, they're still there. And guess what? Those drawers, again, are full, and I can't, and I probably only use the things that are on top. So I need to go through my bras and undies drawer. Anybody else need to do their, declutter their undergarments drawer? So that's been on my list for a while, and I haven't done it. And every time I grab something, look for a pair of socks, and then have to dig through, it's like, oh, well, those undies will no longer fit me. Let's put it in the back of the drawer. It's like, get rid of it, Marianne. All right, so the bras and undies, okay. Right. I need to check my email, because my email inbox, check my Outlook email or inbox. Okay. What else? What else is blue? Book doctor's appointment for the 30th of April. Book, because I need to, the blood test should have been back by then, and I would have had 2 weeks of taking new medication for my blood pressure. Book doctor's appointment. Okay. This is for the 30th of April 26. I think that's all my blues. Okay. If you have any question, please let me know. Please go, what are you doing, Marianne? What's going on here? And of course, if you are watching on the vertical view, you can come to your desktop or your, let me see, make sure I'm trying to find my, okay, here we go. So if you are on the vertical view, come join us. Join us in the full desk view. All right. So the link is in the pin chat right now. Okay. So the things that I said during my brain dump yesterday that I would like to do for today, tomorrow, which are the greens. Those are those ones. And then you told me to write down all the blues. Okay. Which is things I'd like to do for the week that's there. All these other things that's on my brain dump, I don't need to worry about them until either next week or next month. Okay, but there is a safe space that they can I can return back to. Hello there, Laura. Nice to see you. I'm late, but I'm here. Yay! Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you being here, and so lovely to see you again. Okay, so now we won't look at this anymore for a little bit. because we did that categorizing yesterday. And as you can see, I haven't allocated what day I would like to do them yet. So what made me decide to put these blue things for this week instead of maybe next week? As you can see here, this was a new thing that I started doing. So I put a little blue dot here, I put a little green dot there, because yesterday when I was trying to categorize what I would like to do for today, tomorrow, and this week, I asked those two questions that we spoke about earlier. Okay, so what matters right now or this week, and what will happen or what are the consequences if I don't do them this week? So let's say this one was I have two whiteboard, weekly whiteboards that I would like to move from that wall to that wall. So that is something I'd like to do. I would like to do it this week, but I know that I'm already starting to have quite a few things that I need to do this week. So I ask myself, if I don't move the weekly whiteboard from one wall to another, what will be the consequence? Nothing. It can wait. So then it's not something that will go on this week's list. Because what happens Wednesday? What if Wednesday I feel a little bit low again or low energy, and then I have put all these things on my list, and then I'm going to look at my list and go, oh, bad me. I said I wanted to do this. Now I'm falling behind again. Okay, so I want to minimize the pressure that I'm putting on my future self by going, does that belong on this week's list? If I would like to do it, what will happen if I don't do it? Is there a consequence? All right, so that's what I did yesterday. I went, would I like to do that this week? Yes. But if I don't do it, will something happen? Will things fall apart? You know what? I'm going to leave it off this week's list. So that's where that missing step is when you're trying to figure out what goes on your list. Now, the other thing as well, okay, so here are the things. Get eyes checked. Okay, what happens if I don't get my eyes checked? What are the consequences? Well, I can't see. I can't read my book without having to do this or do this, okay? And it's going to hurt my eyes. It's going to give me a migraine. Hey, Margie, maybe how's your glasses? Because that could be the thing. Maybe our migraines come from the grading of our glasses is not up to date. Okay, so get my eyes checked. What are the consequences if I don't do this week? I won't be able to see. I'm going to get migraine and I'm not going to feel well, and then I'm going to fall behind. So there is a consequence if I don't get it done. Okay, so move my sewing machine. Okay, well, what's the consequence? All right, does it matter? Not top of priority. What are the consequences? Technically, there isn't, nothing will fall apart. However, I know that the desk that it's on right now could be utilized more. So all the other things that I have lying around, maybe things I'm tripping over, that can find a nice place on that desk. So that will alleviate some of the pressure that and stress that I might have on other areas. So if I don't move my sewing table, then I will have things that don't have a home yet lying about. And then the chaos and the clutter will cause stress, or my brain will read that as stress. All right. So what else? Update my blood pressure tracker. What are the consequences? Well, I need a little tracker that keeps both my blood pressure, okay, measuring the blood pressure, and that I take my medication. So then when I go to my doctor in 2 weeks' time, I have with me that, yes, I've been taking my medication daily, and this is the result of me measuring my blood pressure. So I need to update the blood pressure tracker for myself, so then I am equipped when I go to the doctor in 2 weeks' time of what's happening with my body and my blood pressure. So is that helping? I have gotten a new prescription back in January. All right, so Margie said, yes, gotten a new prescription. I had my eyes checked last year by an eye doctor, and there is signs of cataract, but at the moment he said it's not big enough or worrisome enough to warrant an eye surgery or so I might have to just up my make sure to get my eyes checked and get the gradings checked. And that could be why I'm having a migraine. All right. So let me know if you have your planner with you right now. What's on your list that you have maybe carried from week to week, month to month, that you have, been putting off or haven't actioned? And then maybe we can brainstorm together how we can overcome it. Does it actually belong on your list? So if you have moved something week to week, month to month, ask yourself, does it really matter? And if it does, what will happen if you don't do it this week? And then if you go, well, it matters, Marianne, and if it doesn't get done, all right, then what we can do is you can break it down. What is the first actionable step that I need to do to get this thing that's been on my list forever? All right, so move my sewing table. Right, so I'll probably put that on a projects list because it's not just a one step. So I'm going to do that right now. Let's see, make sure that I have. All right, start date. When would I like to move my sewing machine? Actually, it needs to be sometime. I'm going to put it to Monday. Okay, so I'm going to put Monday and put a dot here. That's the ideal day that I'd like to do it. Move my sewing machine. Okay, so this is going a little bit beyond. So wouldn't be something you would do right now if you are overwhelmed. But let me just show you how my brain works in, trying to break things down. So I have a projects list printable. I have this one is I printed it in a booklet style. So then I could staple, fold an A4 page in half, staple it together, and I have a nice little A5. But what it is, there is also a video. It's called Task versus Project. So according to David Allen's book, How to Get Things Done, if a task has more than one physical actionable step, that's considered a project. All right, so because a lot of the times the things that's on our to-do list that we don't do or we move from day to day, week to week, month to month, is because we haven't broken it down small enough that it's so easy to action each small tiny step that it's hard to say no to it. All right, so let's say target date. I would like to start that today, which is the 20th of April. Okay, when would I like to finish that? Like to finish, we'll say tomorrow, all right, 21st. So have an ideal start date and actual date versus actual start and finish it. That just tells you, that you're either on track or not. All right, project outcome. Remember, according to David Allen, a project is a task that has more than one physical actionable step. Hello there, Tracy. How nice to see you. Hope you are well. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you've been well, been busy, and making sure that you are on top of your looking after yourself and taking those breaks. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, so the outcome is move sewing table from current desk to I have a secretary's desk that we picked up from the loading dock. Someone had discarded their secretary desk. Okay, so that's the outcome. What does it look like, this project? What does it look like when you've completed it? So move sewing table from current desk to sewing desk. Then that means if I've done that, it's completed. Okay, so here, next action steps is we're going to break it down. So, first of all, the first task is make sure there's space on the secretary's desk. So I can't move the sewing table if there's no space on the other one. So I've got to make sure, right? So if, let's say, that's all I can do today, that is enough. Okay, I have made a progress. I've started. Make sure there's space on the secretary's desk. Okay, all right, let's say I made the space. Second one is move sewing table to new desk. The other one is I also do have a move the overlocker. I have an overlocker to new desk. Okay, next, clear space on old desk. Okay, so I'm going to clear everything off the old desk, wipe surface down, wipe surface, and then organize, right? So maybe I need to go and get some of my pen holders, some of the other stationary caddies that I have. Okay, so here, move sewing machine has now been broken down into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 actionable steps. So if today the only thing I do is make space from one desk to the other, guess what? I have done one little thing. So that is how I break down the bigger task. Hi, is that an insert in your shop, Marianne? Yes, it is. It is the projects list, and it's available in A5, Happy Planner Classic, Letter, and I think it is in the notebook. But yeah, you can just print back to back and fold it in half if you wanted to, if you wanted to create a little booklet that I have, because at the moment, let me just show you what I've actually done is I've actually, let me just zoom out a little bit. Okay, where are we? Main desk, right? So what I've actually done is this is a traveler's notebook. So those of you who've been following, that's my traveler's notebook in there. Okay, with the inserts all, looped into these elastic bands. Okay, so I have one, how many do I have? We got one notebook, 1, 2, my April, my budget, 3, my projects list, 4, and then I found in my cleanup this little, I bought this probably 6-7 years ago and I've never completed it. So maybe I'll start my fitness guide using, so a printed Body Boss Ultimate Fitness Guide. So that one's in there. What else do I have in here? I've run out of place to insert. I have a cleaning list. So I'm going to start cleaning list this week as well. Okay, and then I have my just content schedule there. So yes, the projects list is in the shop. And speaking of shop, let me see if I've got the shop here. Okay, so you can go at Mary, for those of you new here, mariannecrest.com. I'll just pop that the link in the chat right now. Okay, so that's, I have a start here that all the different planner pages that I'm currently using. All right, so yes, projects list, they're available a standalone printable, so you can just purchase the projects list. So that's how I break down all the tasks that have more than one actionable steps. And then I just color code. So purple for me is the cleaning stuff. Blue is for the boys and the boys' homeschool stuff. So if, let's say today, one of the things that I do is make space on my secretary's desk, I will cross that out, put a little dot, gives me a nice little dopamine hit. I've actioned something. All right, so really good. Hot Pink Fluff, hello, nice to see you. Please remind me again, my darling, your first name, brain fog and all of that. And Monday fun 6 a.m. I like how you broke down the large task into smaller steps. Accomplishing the smaller steps make it feel less overwhelming. Yes. So if and when you do, sometimes we know we don't have to be so granular when we do our our task list, right? Sometimes you can do all 5 steps in one go and no need to write it down. But when you find that you have moved tasks from one week to another, to another, to another, and go and wonder why, it's just because the brain just goes, I don't know where to start, right? Move your sewing table. But if I move the sewing table, there's mess all over the place. Where am I going to move it to? There's not even a space that I can move it to that will accommodate your sewing table. I don't even know if the secretary's desk, right? It's one of those that have the little the flap that close. What if I close it and then the sewing machine is too wide? So that's when the brain, when things are too vague, our brain don't know where to start. So what happens? It doesn't start. It figures out other things to do. It, as Brenda would say, creative avoidance or the procrastivity. We do other things that we think make us look busy, but really doesn't move the needle on the things that matter most for us this week. So yeah, I love that. Yes. Tracy says, I love it. Is that an A5 travel size binder? I love the flip through. Thank you. Yes. So like I said, the binder, the leather one, the leather one in here. Okay. So, because yesterday I was cleaning stuff off the floor and off my shelf. And then I went, hang on, my Hobonichi cover, my cousin Hobonichi cover in the lilac. I wonder if the traveler's notebook is, not too wide that I can fit it through the sleeve of my Hobonichi. And it does. So I had to sort of like manipulate it a little bit because then this was buckling. So just because the cover of the traveler's notebook is quite soft and not stiff, so I can sort of like push it in. So now my traveler's notebook has a nice pastel cover. See, this is what the hybrid Franken planning that we love to do. Vanessa. Yes, thank you, Vanessa. Yes, I know you've been here before. Thank you, Vanessa. My brain fogs sometimes, and I love it. Thank you. I'm trying to see hurt pink fluff. Hurt pink fluff. I'm trying to do a word association. Maybe the double F in the fluff, and then the double S in Vanessa. That's how I'm going to associate the double lettering and the double lettering. Okay, hopefully I'll remember next time. And Margie says hello. I love it. I love it. And Silence Deluxe is Tanya, right? I think that one I did a quick visual word association. Let me know if I am correct. Hello, Vanessa. Are you Tanya? Yes. See, I love it. Did I say Tanya? Yeah, I think I said Tanya. What did I say? When you complete a project, do you cross out the project? Yes, I'll share. Oh, well, because I started a new one, I'll show you what I would normally do. You're so creative, Marianne. I think it's more the try and make sure that the things that I have purchased in the past don't go unused because, I have all these different covers that I bought for my Hobonichi cousin, and because I'm no longer in Hobonichi cousin, it's a waste not to use it. So I'd like to find ways that I can use it. Yes, I love your handle. All right, so let me just show you. So let's say I did move my sewing table. Okay, where is my projects list one? Where's my projects list? It's here. It's here. Did I move it? That's the budget. That's the only thing with the notebook insert is I can't have my divider tabs. So I do have these little Midori uh, copper little tabs. So maybe I need to buy more. So let us say, okay, make sure I've done that one. All right. So I've made sure that there was a space on one desk. I moved my sewing table to the next. Okay. So I'm just zooming in here. All right. So then I moved my overlocker as well. So whether I do this in one go or over a few days, right, then clear space on all, wipe the surface, and then organized it. Okay, so once I've ticked all of that, and then what I like to do is I just get a green marker and I will just do that. Okay, so then I no longer have to look at it because everything on that has been completed. As you can see here, I've started, one of the behavioral therapist for my younger son who's on the autism spectrum, he's written a behavioral support for him. So I printed it, I booked a time with my husband for us to read through it. We've read through it, we've taken notes, and then the next step in our hubby wife parent meeting is how are we going to implement the things that's on the behavioral report for my son. So I need to put that on my to-do list somewhere this week to make sure to, coordinate with hubby a good time for us to sit down and implement those actions. Okay, so I just used erasable friction pilot friction color marker. So that is why I can erase that, as well as this is the pilot friction limited edition. So then I was able to erase because I haven't completed it. So that was just a demonstration. Okay, I love it. Okay, so that is how I would, if you do have any tasks that are too vague, it's not specific enough, break it down into small actionable steps so it's so easy to do that it's hard to say no to it. But if I just move my sewing table like I have done many brain dumps after another, okay? So some of them, it's not that I don't know what to do, it's just I'm lazy. And I'm okay with that. All right. So this is now when you have written down the things that you would like to do for the week, and then you try and decide, well, when would I like to do them? Again, the running to-do list based on Alice Thayer method is what's called a live list. So let's say I want to go and get my eyes checked. Well, first of all, that get eyes checked, that's a project, because I got to go find the phone number of the optometrist. I got to go find out on my calendar when a day. So that could be one that if I find myself moving that week to week, then I would probably go and create a projects list. So not every project, remember, according to David Allen, it requires more than one actionable step. It doesn't require a projects list for everything. If you know that get the eyes checked, that go find the phone number, find out what day is a good day for me to go and get my eyes checked, book an optometrist. A lot of these places now are walk-ins, because you can book the optometrist, in 15 minutes or half an hour that day. So it's not too big a project. Okay, so I would like to get that done. When would I like to get that done? Well, first of all, I've got to see if I've got money to go and get new pair of eyeglasses. So maybe I can do that tomorrow. Okay, so I'm going to put for Tuesday, and then I go down the list. When would I like to update the blood pressure tracker? Okay, so today, no, because I've got lots of things to do. Maybe on Wednesday. Oh, actually, no, maybe I have to do that today because I need to go and track my blood pressure so then I can have it ready for the doctors. Okay, group similar items on the dining table. Okay, so I've got things all shoved on or put on the dining table. So now we don't have the dining table to eat. So I need to make sure. So that is not a one-day done job. So I'd like to do some today, dot. Like to do some tomorrow, dot. Maybe Wednesday, keep going, okay? Actually, no, I need to do it. I need to do it by Now, I need to do it by Wednesday because we have Zach's OT coming in and they need that table to do their activities. So I have to, so as you can see, one task, I'm breaking it down and doing it over several days. Organize the shelf drawer behind me. That's not a today, that's not a tomorrow, maybe a Thursday. Okay, so as you can see, I'm going down my list and having a look when ideally I would like to do it. The way I decide is how full is the day that I would like to do it. So don't put too much task on days where you already have, so many things happening. Don't put task on days which is your day off. Maybe just have a light day, one or two. But if it's your day off, let's say a Friday is your day off, and you had 3 things, then it's not a day off, is it? Then you haven't had a good rest. So have a hard number of how many tasks you would like to do each day. Is it 3 to 5? Is it 5 to 7? And some of those tasks may be, the same, or they're all desk stuff like check email, book doctor's appointment, get eyes checked, right? So maybe they're all admin stuff. So even though there might be a lot, they're all the same, and you can batch action them together. So if I'm checking my email, maybe if I'm checking my expense tracker, maybe if I'm, responding to something, I could all put them on one day. So when you start to allocate what days of the week you would like to ideally get these tasks done, don't put too much on the same day. Don't put too much on your days off, okay? Try and do the harder task, that requires a lot of effort, maybe earlier on in the week. So then if and when you may not be up to it, you still have the rest of the week to complete it. The other thing is, let's say get eyes checked and Tuesday, oops, I didn't get it done, okay? Because this is a living list. You can do I think they call the greater than sign, or, little arrow. And then, okay, I didn't get to do it Tuesday, maybe I'll do it Thursday, okay? So instead of rewriting your list again and again, you can keep it all on the one. You can add a little bit more. When you are doing your running to-do list, don't fill it up all the way through, even, before the week begins. Because some of these things may take longer than you anticipate. Yeah, an emergency will come up. So if you don't leave enough space for things that may take longer or for other things to come up, you are pretty much starting at the overwhelm again. This leaves space because not only is it a little bit of breathing room, but visually as well. You are giving, permission for yourself not to inundate your week with so much stuff even before the week begins. And that is why you'll probably find yourself, on a Wednesday feeling stressed and overwhelmed because your list is just so full. That's why we try and keep it on one page. So then that way, visually, we can see that we have not put too much on our future self's plate. Okay, so let me quickly have a look what is going on in the chat. I needed those small actionable steps reminder. Yeah, isn't that good? Because it's not that we don't know what to do. A lot of us have, led teams of, a number of people. We have had done different projects. We're organizing, we're coordinating a lot of different things. So it's not that our brain doesn't know what to do. We are capable of anything we put our mind to. But what happens is if we carry it all in our head, don't have it written down, don't have the consistent and constant reminder that take it easy, have a break things down into small actionable steps. It's like as if you have 42 tabs open. That's what happens when we have a big list. We're trying to remember it all. Some things will start to slow down, right? When you've got 42 tabs open on your computer, what happens? You'll hear the motor of the computer or the laptop, the fan starting to go overdrive. And then it slows down, and what happens? Your laptop or computer suddenly shuts down. That's what happens to us. Okay, so yes, we need these constant reminder. I got nervous that I made you close off the project, but you got me. That's right. Yes, erasable, erasable markers and gel pens. So the rubber tips erase, or rather, it's not. It makes it invisible with friction. Let's say I need the small. Yes, I need the small actionable step reminders. Um, Hi, everyone. Hi. Uh-oh. Hi, Irene. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining. Hope you've been well. Hello, Michelle. This is great. Marianne can relate so much on constantly shifting a task because it's too much while I could have been working on it as a project. Yes, and breaking down the steps to help my busy brain. Exactly. I'm in the same boat, Michelle. I think I can do it all. I don't need to write it down. I don't need to break it down into small actionable steps. I've done big projects before. My brain has the capacity to do it without having to break it down. But then, you know what I don't anticipate? My energy level, my mood, things that I don't anticipate that will come up. Someone was rude to me at the checkout. Someone cut me off, right? And now I'm all angry and frustrated, and that's all my brain is thinking because it switches to fight, flight, or freeze. So I'm now angry, and then the part of my brain that makes decisions is switched off because all it's like ready to fight, right? Not physical fight, right? But that's what our brain does. It switches our nervous system, switches to fight, flight, or freeze. Okay, so yes, sometimes that's all we need. We need people to remind us. I have that insert, but need to actually use it. Yes, so I don't use it often. All right, so it's not that I have to, but when I know, things are a little bit overwhelming and I don't know where to start, that is when I break it down into a project. Sorry if this question was asked before, but you can. So you combine both work and personal together on that insert. On my running to-do list, let me know if it's this one or the projects. Let me know, Tracy. So on the running to-do list, yes. For me, yes. Okay. Try and make sure you try and keep your list on one visible. If you wanted to do it on two, but the trap that you fall into when having, that's why the Alistair method specifically says keep it on one page, because then if you have two, you might miss, and then you're having to because a lot of the times we can manage weekly pages. We can manage daily pages. We can manage multiple planners, okay? We can manage, where are we? Okay, we can manage so many things. But when what I'm showing today is what happened to me last week. Low energy, low motivation, no spark for even the things that bring me joy. So then, of course, I look at my planner pages, it's empty. I write things in the morning that I would like to do, don't actually do them. And then that puts an extra pressure, an extra guilt. I feel bad, I'm not good, negative thinking, limiting beliefs, all piled on top of another on a day or on a moment where one straw might be the thing that breaks me that day. Okay, so the running to-do list for me personally, and based on the Alistair method, is keep everything on one. Now remember, if you go, well, my personal and my work stuff, that's going to be a lot. and you can manage 2 lists, I mean, of course, you do what your brain has the capacity for. But what happens is if you've got multiple lists, is then you start to go, oh, which one? So yeah, for me, work and personal stuff are on here. And then if I have the capacity, then I will plan it on a, break it down in my daily pages or my weekly. Yes, the running to-do list. Okay, so just keep everything on one page just to keep it simple. Again, this is may not be an everyday thing or an every week, but this is in particular for when the day or when the weeks feel heavy, too much, don't know where to start, more anxious than not, more frozen than not. It's just really just keeping it simple, keeping it highly focused just for that week. Maybe it's just the running to-do list. Maybe it's just if you've got a lot or you've got work and personal, maybe it's what can I do in the next 3 days? Okay, so maybe it's just if you've got a lot to do today, maybe it's just for the next 2 days on one page. Because what happens if you have multiple lists and then you go, okay, which one can I do next, right? The brain, it's like as if you know how you have to start your computer, turn it off and on again. There's actually, it takes up more energy. You have to exert more energy when you stop and start one task to stop and start another. So it's the same when we have too many lists. It's like, okay, which one do I do first? All right, so hopefully that helps. So really, the running to-do list, keep it to one page when everything is feeling a little too much for you, either today or the rest of the week, okay? So I've just added that way. And then I will just go through the list, check out my Outlook email. So there's not a lot on my Wednesday, so that could be a Wednesday thing, okay? Book doctor's appointment. A double line book doctor's appointment. Maybe I can do that tomorrow. All right, so now if let's say today I'm not feeling good, all right, it's Monday. Let me have a look. Okay, normally my Mondays, as you know, I would plan the week already. I would embellish my planner pages, all right? I would plan this. I would put all my habits and routines. I would put my wellness, you know, what can I do? And then I will plan my day. But when you're not up to it, that's just an extra load on your already heavy shoulders. So I would just go and run off. I will just have that open, okay? That would be my to-do list. Of course, if you're in, you know, in a public place, maybe you wouldn't want yours open, but I have my desk here. I would just go, all right, what's on Monday? Okay, cleaning list for the week. All right, I've got to write my cleaning list for the week. And then that could be my, let's have a look. All right, so Monday, so which one would be my top priority? Get outside. Maybe that could be my number 1. Which one could be the next one? Move sewing machine? No. Update blood pressure? Maybe my cleaning list. All right, you know what? It's too, I can't even think. So I'm just going to leave it at 1 priority. That's how you help yourself move from being stuck. Let's just do one thing. What's one thing? Get outside. Have your coffee. Have your water. Listen to one song. Okay, you've done that. Woohoo! We can mark that down. Okay, so let's say I did that. Okay, we can mark that down. Okay, how are you feeling, Marianne? Can you do another thing on your list? Actually, I can, because I'm so proud I got myself outside, got my daylight. Okay, maybe, let me see, move my sewing table. Oh, well, my sewing, that's a big task, but I wrote it down my projects list. What's on my projects list? Make sure there's space on the secretary's table. Okay, there is space. Guess what? I've checked that there is space. Boop, I made space, done. One tiny little action. What needs to happen today? What will happen if it doesn't get done? What are the consequences? All right. What can we do tomorrow? Okay, one thing at a time. When we've done that, what can I look at for the rest of the week? All right. So really important. So hopefully that answers your question. All right. So as I'm doing this, I'm glad that some of you have started to think, break it down. What have I moved from week to week? Why aren't I moving it? The question can be, or the answer might be not that you have broken it down into small actionable steps. Maybe it just doesn't matter. It doesn't move the needle on things. Maybe you've carried this task for so long that it's now your buddy. But then you go, does it matter? Not really. What happens if I don't do it? Nothing. Maybe you said yes to something 3 weeks ago, but now it's not important. So what do? Cross it off. Okay? You know what? I've been putting this one on my list 5 weeks in a row. What does it matter? No, not really. What happens if I don't do it? Nothing. Doesn't belong on my list anymore. Was important 3 weeks ago, maybe doesn't matter right now. So when you start to look at it this way, now does it take a little bit more time each and every time? Yes, but oh, what was that one? I just realized that I wrote that with a friction pen yesterday. Now I've erased it. That's okay. I'm going to look at my video from yesterday and figure out what that one was. I'll figure it out. Okay. So think about your own week as well. What matters, and does it have any consequence if I don't do it? What actually needs to happen today? Right. So let me quickly have a look. Where are we? So like I said, that video here, my hair's, let me put it, all right, what to pick. So how to decide what goes on your to-do list are those 2 important questions. So if you haven't watched that video yet, that's on my channel. I'm not sure if I've added the link, all right? So really, really important. So if you've done a brain dump, you practice that one really well. You know how to go and, write down, your running to-do list, but you're finding that your running to-do list is too long. Then you got to go, what goes on the list this week? Okay, so the running to-do list is also great because instead of rewriting your day, your task each and every day, now I write my task each and every day when I have the capacity because I like to. And I like that, on my planner. So this is write it down only on 1 page if that's all you can manage. But if you can manage more, then you write it, do whatever you like. But it's when we don't know what to do, just go on 1 page and stops you from rewriting. So I just keep it in here and then I'll either move through them one at a time, or when I'm planning my day, I will go, oh, what did I schedule for Tuesday? All right, let's write that down. And then that gives you another layer of asking. Now, on Monday, I said I would like to do this today with, let's say, a Thursday. And then your Thursday, you're not well. You're a bit sad. Or you're feeling a little bit low. Then you can ask those questions again. Does it matter right now? And what will happen if I don't do it? You know what? I don't need to organize the shelf behind me. It's in the scheme of the big picture. It doesn't matter. So I can decide either on that day that I'll put up with the drawers not opening again next week. So each and every day you have an opportunity to ask yourself, How important is it right now? Not that it's not important, but it's right now based on how you are that day. Okay, so this can be a page on its own. You can put it with amongst your other pages. And if you want, you've got a blank notebook, you can draw lines, but they've made it easy that this running to-do list both has a Sunday start and a Monday start. So I used to print this as a Monday start, but because I do my brain dump on a Sunday, I want to list down what I need to do for Sunday. So I use the Sunday start version. Okay, so you can use this page alongside your weekly or daily planner, but it's there to support you, to guide you. It's not the boss of you, right? So really important. Your planner is not the boss of you. It's just there to help guide you for when things may not be right, or for when things are going great and you're planning and putting washi tapes and stickers and everything else. All right. So this is what has helped me for those days that I'm feeling a little bit low or very little energy, because I don't have to figure everything out again. It's just like, what did my Monday me say that I could do today? All right. And then I can just come back here and pick one thing. All right. That's all I can manage today. That is good enough. So really important. Be kind to yourself. So I would love to know, how will this look like for you? What's one thing that you are going to focus on? Where's my question? Where's my question? I don't know what my question is. Yep. So share with me, if you want to, what's one thing you're focusing on this week. So mine is get outside. Not only is it good for my mood, helps regulate my mood, it helps vitamin D. So that if you have low vitamin D, through my own little research, that affects your mood, that affects your motivation as well. So let me see. Is this the Monday? Okay, so I'm going to put here, get outside for a walk. And look, I'm even changing my handwriting style. I'm making it thinner and taller. Because sometimes changing things up, even your handwriting, can give you back that little spark. Tracy says, I must say Sunday starts makes a different because to me the week does start on a Sunday, not Monday. Yes, so for me here in Australia, because Monday when I younger used to work, work starts on a Monday, so it's like the Monday start. But yes, Sunday, I've never even thought before to have a Sunday start. But yeah, it makes more sense. I love that. Okay, so one thing I'm focusing on, get outside, get sunshine, will help my vitamin D, will help regulate my mood, and will get me moving. So that's like 4 different things that it can do just getting outside. So Margie says, my focus for this week is to drink my water. All right, so in celebration of Margie's focus, let's all drink our water right now. And continue my daily AM and PM skincare routine. You've been really good with your skincare routine, Margie. That is wonderful. That. Let me see if I can. Where is? Let's have a look. Hooray! You need to be celebrated. Okay, Laura says next week I will go to a new nutritional clinic. So this week I need to prepare for that. Oh, I love that. When new things, preparing for it, that's another, I know that brings me joy when I prepare for something too. I love that. Okay, so have a think for yourself. You can either write it on a Post-it note, put it on your computer screen to help remind you what's your one focus. So if nothing else gets done this week or today, but you got that done, it is a win. Sometimes we think of a successful day when we've crossed off all the things on our to-do list. But if you just get one of your top priorities done, we should see that as a success, as a victory, as a win. And then our brain will go, hey, yesterday we got ourselves outside. Hooray for us. And then it's going to go look for more positive thing. But if we go and look at it the other way, well, I got myself outside, I checked my email, but then I didn't do this, and I didn't do that, and I didn't do this, and I didn't do that. What was the last thing you said? The didn't do. So what's the brain going to focus on? The things we didn't do. So now it's going to go look for all, well, yeah, I got myself outside, but I didn't clean the dining table. So now my brain goes, well, that was a failure. So have a think. What are you feeding your mind? I'm guilty of feeding my mind not nice things. I've been saying not nice things to myself, and we've got to stop that. Let's be our own advocate. The same way all of you here cheer me on, I need to do that for myself, and you need to do that for yourself as well. So we have Tracy's focus for this week is to control my blood pressure for the week. Yes, I need to do that because my blood medication, we increased it. So we're going to see how that does. And I've got to actually keep maybe on my blood pressure, or well, I've got on the blood pressure tracker there are notes. There's a column for notes because they said that keep an eye on it because the up in dosage might make me dizzy. So we'll see how that goes. I love it. Marge's skincare is important. Yes, love that. Exactly. For all of us. So skincare is not just outside skincare, but also hydrating ourselves. Dandrius is changing my winter curtains to my spring curtains, which will help brighten things up. Oh, I love that. We don't have curtains, so I just live in an apartment. We just got, the blinds. But oh, I remember having curtains in my room when I was a teenager, and I used to do that too, change it up to the lighter and more floral colors for the spring. I love that. Happy Planning Sunday. Hello, Sabrina. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you. And thank you also for your wonderful, kind words that you have, written when I have shared my little low mood journey the last week. I really appreciate everyone doing that. All right. So, so focus on that. Keep that in mind. Let's look at the wins. Don't look at the not dones. Yeah, don't look at the things we didn't do, but look at the things we do. And so thank you so much for sharing your focus for the week this week. And I would ask a lovely favor, if you've been enjoying this live stream, don't forget that like. And if you know other people that might go, you know what, they might get a kick out of knowing these things and having the reminders. Sometimes we forget that it's not that we are being told what to do or that we don't know what to do, but we just need reminding, okay? It's just that little prompt. Oh yeah. Oh, duh, Marianne. That's why you keep moving it from week to week. You didn't break it down into small actionable steps. Of course, that's why you're not starting it. Your brain goes, where do you want me to start? Okay. Well, I shouldn't say that that's the voice of my brain. All right. So really important. So again, I'll pop in the link right now, the planner printables that I use. The running to-do list is there as well. And so really important. So Tracy says, Marianne, have them test for a hormones that affects blood pressure. That's the issue I'm dealing with. Meds were not working for me. So I'm just recently started the blood pressure medication, or like a small dosage of it. But I did get my blood test done on Friday. So I'm just waiting for the results, as well as just keep an eye on my blood pressure after the up in dosage. Thank you, Tracy. Yes, I've been making sure that, because that could be the thing, that's causing all the low moods and low energy, low motivation. All right, so the running to-do list, if you wanted to grab that, it is available in A5, Happy Planner Classic, letter size, in a notebook size. And if you are part of our Quiet Focus membership, okay, so that's where we do 1 hour quiet deep focus session once a week, which also includes the weekly brain dump. If you are part of the Quiet Focus membership and you have purchased the running to-do list, okay, so this is for the Quiet Focus members, let me know, email me, because then I will send you a printable of this. So in it, you have daily affirmations, the self-care bingo card, the brain dump guide, the brain dump trigger list, the brain dump page, and the running to-do list, all in one. So I think there's enough for 2 months worth of brain dumping and to-do list in here. And it has in here the self-care bingo. Actually, I didn't listen to my favorite song. However, I listened to Laura shared herbal tea. So I am going to mark that as I listen to a song as one of my self-care activities yesterday. Okay, so you can gamify your breaks and self-care, but it's there. Again, quiet. So if you are not a member, just underneath there's a join button. When you click that, you're not joining yet, but there's an explanation of what is part of the perks of the membership. Okay, so if you have purchased the running to-do list and you are part of the Quiet Focus membership, I will send you the printable so you can create your own little booklet. You can have this separate on its own. You can put this next to your bedside table. And, you know, if you have thoughts before you go to bed, you can brain dump it, and then you can put it on your running to-do list. All right. So I've linked that up. Going to purchase the projects list. Yes. So it's all there as well in the link that I have just added. So now if you need a space to reset and do this with someone, okay, you can join us for our weekly brain dump in the membership. So in there, it's not as long as the monthly free session that we do once a month. So we don't go through it step by step, and it doesn't take that long because really a lot of it is more doing it together. So it's like the accountability of doing our brain dump together, or for those of you that aren't in my time zone, you can watch it on replay. So the weekly brain dump, again, a lot of the times it's not that we don't know what to do or we don't want to do it. It's just, it's better when we do it with others. Okay, so I run a weekly brain dump each week in the membership. So again, you can check out the join button, and then that way we also enjoy each other's company. So I know Laura, Brenda, Margie, Georgia, and a few others that I know watch it on the replay have joined the weekly brain dump. Sabrina says, yes, I had my own out of control blood pressure and was placed on a total of 3 meds instead of 1 that was on for years. My gynecologist thinks it could be hormonal, but now it's under control. Yes, we need to be also our own advocate for our own health. And I know Elle had said this, I don't know if she's still here, that we got to go and make sure to find a doctor that, that listens to us, right? So that just because they have the paperwork on the wall, that yes, they are an expert, and yes, they have experience, and yes, they have the skills to know the human body and the symptoms, but you know yourself more than they do. So you need to speak up. I might make a video of my experience from last week of what I did before walking into the doctor's room. Okay, so then that way I was well equipped and I wasn't rushed. So if I didn't write down what I had written down, I probably wouldn't have been able to communicate exactly the test that I would love to have gotten done. Okay, so really important that you are your own advocate. All right, so let's quickly do a recap. My iPad is dying, so I'm going to go and plug that in. All right, so let's do a lovely recap for today. So what did we do today? All right. So if you haven't already done a brain dump, make sure you do that. Okay. So brain dump, you got the free brain dump printable guide. Let me see if I can, is that on there? Okay. So there's the, if you haven't yet downloaded or got your copy, there it is, right? It's free. It's got the brain dump step by step, the trigger list, and the grid that you can go and dump everything on there. So if you haven't done that and you're feeling overwhelmed with your task because you're carrying everything in here, you need to write it down. Okay. So if it's a little bit too much to plan your new week, just pick 3 priorities. Okay. Pick 3 priorities. If 3 is still too much, pick 1. Action it. If that's all you can do, fantastic. Hooray! Where's my hooray? Where's my hooray? Is this it? Oh, that's a party maker. I don't know where my hooray is, okay? So maybe our applause. Hooray! Hooray! We got one thing done. It's a win. Focus on the things we did do. All right, so pick 3 priorities. If that's still too much, pick 1. Action, then do the next one. Okay, next we want to keep it simple. Okay, again, you know, for those of you that might go, I can put my to-do list on 2 pages. Yes, you can do whatever you want. But if you're like me and struggle to figure out why you're stuck, you know, why you're feeling guilty, why you're overwhelmed, why you're burning out, it's because we're trying to do too many things all at the same time when we already have no energy. All right, so keep it simple. Keep it on 1 page. Keep it on 1 page, whether that's the running to-do list or just a little post-it note. That is not a forever way to plan. It's a way to plan when things are overwhelming. Okay, so really simple. So brain dump, everything out of your head, down on paper. Once you've done that, out of those things, what things can you do right now? Top 1, 2, or 3 priorities. Keep it simple. Don't try and plan the whole month, the whole week, or even the whole day if all you can manage right now is showering. All you can manage right now is getting outside for a walk. All you can manage right now is having your meal. Right? Sometimes we forget to have our breakfast because we're trying to sort everybody else out. Okay, so really important. So brain dump, pick 3 priorities, keep it simple, keep it on 1 page. And then later, when you do have the energy and you do have the capacity, then you can start planning on all the other planner pages that you have. Embellish it with colorful markers and washi tape and stickers. You know, I have to go and plan my new week. So later on, I might come back and just have music on because they might be doing their homeschool. So if you're out and about and you see a live stream, that will just an impromptu live stream, take you with me. We'll have a quiet session, put some nice little background music. Oh no, I'll see how I go. Again, I'm just focusing on one thing at a time. Keep it simple, keep it on 1 page. All right, so if you haven't yet shared, what is one thing you're focusing on this week? If you're watching on the replay, guess what? You can share what you're going to focus on in the comments section as well. All right, so really important. Pop it in the comments section, and then, you know, I love reading your comments and love replying to them. Okay, so you don't need to figure things out all at the same time. Let's quickly have a look. We've got Irene says, have your doctor regularly, my eyesight's going. Have your doctor regularly checks your meds you're taking? Sometimes the side effects are overlooked and you're given more meds. Yes, so mine's new. So yes, be your own advocate, okay? Just know what you're, you know, and that's why your planner will come in handy with all these different things that's going on. You know, the symptoms, how you're feeling, not just the physical. Laura says, we can do everything, but not at once. Have a good week, everybody. Thank you for everything, Marianne. I really need that reminder on projects. Yeah, just take it easy, break it down, and Just because it's on our to-do list does not mean we have to go and, action or complete it all in one go. All right, so really important. But if you do have that focus in mind, even if that's the only thing you can fully action this week, it is a win. So if you are new to my channel and you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you do, because I love seeing you join our little Plannerettes community. Oh, it's not little anymore. We've got a few of us now. Okay, so you don't need to figure it out all at once. Okay, and you don't even have to figure out the whole week. Just start with one step. And if you're still not sure what you should actually go put on this week's to-do list, make sure to watch this next video. I'll pop it here when the live stream is finished. I'll walk through exactly how you can decide what goes on your weekly list without the overwhelm. Thank you, everybody. See you next time. Bye.